Today we will talk about the third generation Seat Ibiza 6 liters, which was produced from 2002 to 2008. Many highlight the Ibiza of that time, talking about the most successful design. Even today, on the road, the car looks very dignified, the taillights in the style of Alpha, the predatory squint of the headlights, the high line of side glazing, all this looks very sporty. Not surprising, because the famous master Walter de Silva was engaged in the design. The car is built on the A04 PQ24 platform, which the Spanish hatch shares with the fourth generation Skoda Fabia and VW Polo. But unlike close relatives, Ibiza was notable for its sporty temperament, not only due to its appearance. It was equipped with the most powerful engines available for the B-class of the VAG lineup. Body panels, as well as the bottom of the car, are perfectly protected from corrosion. The car does not rot. There are no weak spots. If the car has not been in an accident, then finding traces of rust will not be easy. By the way, the bottom of the car is covered with plastic aerodynamic shields, in the Porsche style. This protects well from dirt, but low ground clearance sometimes plays a cruel joke with these elements. Here you need to be careful. Sometimes the interior fan can howl, just like the related Fabia. It is also worth noting the handle for opening the trunk lid, integrated into the emblem. It often becomes clogged and wedged in the open position. In order to restore her mobility, she needs to be thoroughly washed, blown with compressed air and lubricated. Some other owners noted the not very successful shape of the front fender liner. Sometimes the tire rubbed the plastic when the wheel was averted. But this happened only in those cases when the wheels were installed a size larger. Landing in the cabin is sporty low, and the high glazing line gives a feeling of confidence and security, as if you are sitting in cars of a higher class. At the same time, the plastic in the cabin is simple, but everything is done very elegantly and looks good. There is little space on the back sofa both in length and in width. This car is not for a family with 2 children. At the same time, there are also 3 doors. In general, one might say, a 2-seater coupe. The trunk is not the smallest, 265 liters, which is quite good for such a car. The shape is correct, the shelf is high. Engines and gearboxes. There were both diesels and petrols. We mostly meet 1.4 petrol and 2.0 petrol. At the same time, if you want an automatic, then the weakest version of 1.4 for 75 horsepower was offered for it, which is strange, because there were options with this volume and more powerful. Therefore, the machine in this car is for phlegmatic people. The most running engine is an 8-valve 2-liter, 115 horsepower. This unit makes a hurricane out of this small car, accelerating to hundreds of orders up to 10 seconds, which is very worthy. Of course, there were also turbocharged versions of the FR1.8T, which already claimed the title of budget sports car, but this is a rarity on our roads. In general, motors 1.4 and 2.0 are reliable. Of the soars at 1.4, individual ignition coils, but they are not expensive. Coolant fluid leaks through the sensor in the radiator. It is also expensive to change the timing kit. There are 2 belts and 4 rollers, plus you also need to add the cost of a water pump. A 2-liter likes to eat oil, and the hotter the temperament of the driver, the greater the appetite of the motor, up to half a liter per 1,000 kilometers. The boxes are also good and reliable. The oil in the machine is not eternal, it needs to be changed, preferably every 60 to 90,000 kilometer. Suspension. In 2-liter versions on our roads you will be pretty shaken. Low-profile tires and special suspension settings will not let you get bored. But Brilliant keeps a straight car is very worthy, to match the appearance. In smaller engines, the suspension is softer and more comfortable. Suspension reliability is a strong 4. Rear semi-independent beam with almost eternal silent blocks. Shock absorbers last a long time, usually such cars are not loaded. There is a question about the rear shock absorber supports, or pillows, they sometimes tap. There are no critical issues on the front suspension. Classically for single platform, like the Fabias and Polo, the thrust bearings are rather weak and the stabilizer struts are not very tenacious. Silent blocks and bushings go well. The Seat Ibiza 6 liters is one of the most hassle-free cars in its class, yet it looks great and drives well. The most important thing is not to run into a dead copy from the previous racer.